On Sunday, November 2nd, in an Instagram post that has over 6.3 million likes at the time of writing, Charles Leclerc announced his engagement to long-term partner Alexandra Saint-Mleux. A familiar face in the paddock, Alexandra is often seen cheering on her Ferrari driver partner Leclerc from the garages. But beyond the world of Formula One, Alexandra is an art history student, influencer, and fashion icon in her own right. In today's video, we're taking a closer look at who the future Mrs. Leclerc really is, her story, her rise, her life before Charles, and why everyone suddenly seems to be talking about her. Chapter 1. Before the Spotlight. Alexandra Saint-Mleux was born on June 19, 2001, in a small French town right on the border with Monaco. She is of mixed heritage. Her mother is Mexican, and her father is Franco-Argentine. She grew up in Monaco, where she attended the Lycée Albert Premier de Monaco, a French-language public high school almost every teenager in Monaco attends. And Alexandra was even in the same class as the sister of Charles's ex-girlfriend, Valentine. She grew up in a multicultural environment, speaking several languages and moving easily between cultures, something that later became part of her charm and international appeal. She's apparently fluent in French, Spanish, English, and Italian.
Soy Alexandra Saint-Mleux y esta es mi bebida con Café Society en colaboración con Corazones Unidos, mi charity fund que apoya. When he comes back, can you get us?
Yeah, it's like I don't want to disturb, like, saying, like, take it.
Don't drown your health. Thinking's better than drinking.
Sì, molto buone. Questo è limone e limone, sì. Vuoi?
没有糖。
C'est hyper mou. 8,5. Attends, moins 10 sur 10. J'ai pas pris.
After finishing school, Alexandra moved to Paris to continue her studies. She enrolled at the École du Louvre, one of the most selective universities in France, where she studied art history, focusing on modern and contemporary art. Her coursework included curation, art theory, and museum management, subjects that reflect the academic side of her later public image. Before becoming known on social media, Alexandra worked in the art field. She interned at the Hôtel des Ventes de Monte Carlo, a local auction house that handles fine art, jewelry, and antiques. She also participated in Monaco Art Week, assisting in organizing gallery events and exhibitions. These experiences built her early career profile before she gained attention online. There isn't much public information about her private life before 2023, when she started appearing in fashion circles and later became known through her relationship with Charles Leclerc. Chapter 2. The couple's story. Charles, 28, and Alexandra, 24, have reportedly been together since early 2023, though little is known about the beginning of their relationship. Raised in Monaco, Alexandra reportedly met Charles through mutual friends, a friends-to-lovers story straight out of a romance movie, which has now reached its happy ending with a proposal and a wedding on the horizon. They kept things private at first, out of respect for Charles's previous long-term relationship with Charlotte Sinet, daughter of the general director of Société des Bains de Mer, the major state-backed luxury company that owns Monaco's iconic casinos, hotels, and entertainment venues. That relationship officially ended in December 2022 after 3 years together. Leclerc wrote at the time, "Hi everyone, Charlotte and I have decided to end our relationship but remain good friends. We shared many beautiful moments, and she will always be someone very special to me." After their relationship went public, fans immediately began comparing Alexandra to Charles' ex, Charlotte. The comparisons were everywhere. Side-by-side photos, TikToks, even Reddit threads pointing out how similar they look. Same hair color, similar features, and that quiet, elegant vibe Monaco seems to produce. It went far enough that fans started tracking their online activity and noticed that Charles was still following Charlotte on Instagram months after getting together with Alexandra. When that detail went viral, screenshots spread across F1 Twitter and fan pages, and not long after, Charles quietly unfollowed her. Before Charlotte, Charles had dated Giada Gianni, a Neapolitan influencer, for about 4 years. And here's the spicy part. Many people criticized Charles for seemingly dating within the same friend circle. His exes Giada and Charlotte had been close for years, even back when Giada was still dating him. Then, in 2023, when Alexandra and Charles started seeing each other, some sneaky fans discovered a comment Alexandra had left under Charlotte's post back in 2016. So, technically, Alexandra and Charlotte were also in the same friend group for over 5 years. But who knows? Maybe it's just a Monaco thing?
Did you know about Charles Leclerc's weird dating history? Which is only weird because he has a reputation for dating people who are in the same friend group. Fate would have it, Charlotte and Giada actually knew each other. They had been friends for a long time, even back when Giada was dating Charles.
First notice of Alex in Charles' life a parade when fans noticed her in the background of a TikTok video taken of Leclerc at Paris Fashion Week in March 2023. Their suspicions were confirmed in May of the same year when Alex was seen at the Monaco Formula One Grand Prix. She was an official guest with Leclerc's Ferrari team. Charles and Alexandra made their first public appearance at Wimbledon 2023, alongside fellow driver Pierre Gasly and his fiancée Francisca Gomez, the moment that officially introduced them as a couple. Since then, the two have been seen together frequently at races, social events, and vacations, including their summer holiday in Corsica. Since getting together, Alexandra has supported Leclerc at nearly every Formula One race. One of the most emotional moments came during the 2024 Monaco Grand Prix, when Charles made history as the first Monegasque driver to ever win the race at home. Alexandra, visibly moved, was seen crying with joy. During the event, she walked through the paddock with their dog Leo, Charles's mother Pascal, and his brothers Arthur and Lorenzo, proof that she is already fully part of the Leclerc family circle. Chapter 3: Becoming a Fashion It Girl. At first, Alexandra's popularity started to grow in a very specific niche, through her paddock outfits. Clips and photos of her looks began circulating online, especially on TikTok and Pinterest, where users started making style compilations inspired by her wardrobe. People liked how different she looked from the usual F1 scene. Her clothes were feminine, soft, and unmistakably European, with that quiet luxury aesthetic that feels expensive without trying too hard. Over time, Alexandra has become much more than just Charles Leclerc's girlfriend. While the media initially treated her as another F1 wag, she's quietly built her own space. And it's not in the paddock, it's in fashion. 2024 became the year she stepped into that role publicly. Her following on Instagram grew fast after she made her account public, and with it came interest from major brands that wanted to associate with her aesthetic. Her first major collaboration was with Rhode, Hailey Bieber's beauty line. It wasn't the usual influencer deal. The tone of the campaign matched Alexandra's image perfectly: clean visuals, soft light, and quiet confidence. Then came Alo Yoga, a partnership that made sense for both sides. Alo was rebranding into a lifestyle label, and Alexandra already embodied that calm, minimal, aspirational energy the brand wanted. She also appeared in campaigns for Meshki, known for its simple silhouettes and neutral color palette, another natural fit. The real confirmation came later that year, when Alexandra appeared on the cover of Elle Mexico, her first major magazine feature.
Hola, soy Alexandra Saint-Mleux. Quiero que me conozcas mejor con Elle México.
Photographed in Cartier jewelry and Loewe pieces, she looked exactly like what the internet had already decided she was: composed, elegant, a little mysterious. In the interview, Alexandra finally let people see who she is beyond the photos. She talked about studying art history at the École du Louvre and how she sees fashion as another language of art, one that reacts to politics, culture, and emotion, just like painting or sculpture. She said her favorite movement is Impressionism, especially Monet and Renoir, artists who captured light and everyday beauty. When asked which designer she'd want to be in another life, she answered Elsa Schiaparelli, because she blurred the line between art and fashion, creating surreal, almost conceptual pieces that Alexandra sees as wearable imagination. She also spoke about her Mexican roots, saying that they keep her grounded. She mentioned how much she loves the warmth and openness of Mexican culture, and, in a very down-to-earth way, her favorite foods, chilaquiles and mold. But the most meaningful part of the interview was her new project, the Corazones Unidos Foundation. It's something she had dreamed of for years, a non-profit focused on art and education for children in underprivileged communities across Mexico. The foundation's first initiative helped a free art center in Cancun obtain musical instruments for children through the Hermes music program. Alexandra said she believes even small actions can change a child's life, that giving access to art can open possibilities that education alone sometimes can't.
Me siento en la computadora y empiezo a pensar en proyectos para Corazones Unidos que acabo de crear este año, que es para apoyar a las mujeres en el arte en México y para la educación de los niños en México. Y es un proyecto que es mi sueño y estoy súper feliz y emocionada de haber podido crearlo este año. Así que espero que tengamos un gran impacto, porque me parece súper importante hacer cosas buenas para los demás, pero también hacer cosas que te llenan el alma. Me parece súper importante.
Chapter 4, Royal Circles and High Society Era. Most glamorous of all, Alexandra has become a regular on Monaco's sparkling social scene. After all, Leclerc might as well be Monaco royalty, having become the first Monegasque F1 driver to win the country's Grand Prix. Later that night, the pair were welcomed with open arms by Prince Albert and Princess Charlene to the Grand Prix of Monaco Gala dinner. What higher acclaim can there be? Outside of motorsport, this pair can be spotted at the Rolex Monte Carlo Masters. And Alexandra, who seems to be perpetually dressed in Clio Pepiat, practically a requirement of any it girl, has fallen in with the socialite crowd. Her Instagram is followed by the likes of Princess Talita von Furstenberg, Princess Maria Chiara of Bourbon, Two Sicilies. With Charles by her side and a growing list of high society admirers, Alexandra has quietly become one of the most photographed young women in Monaco, effortlessly blending into a lifestyle that looks straight out of a modern fairy tale. Chapter 5. When staying low-key backfires. For most of her relationship with Charles, Alexandra kept things extremely low-key. She rarely appeared in interviews, almost never spoke online, and avoided any kind of self-promotion. That silence built her image. Calm, mysterious, elegant. But now that she's slowly stepping into the spotlight, it's starting to backfire. Since late 2025, Alexandra has become more visible, attending races regularly, appearing in fashion campaigns, and posting more often. But with that visibility came criticism. Some fans have accused her of turning the paddock into a runway, saying that Formula One weekends are becoming more about fashion content than racing. Others claim she's using Charles's fame to build her own audience, pointing to her sudden follower growth, brand deals, and magazine features. There's also a running theory online that Alexandra had always been looking for a wealthy partner, and that she'd been orbiting around Charles for nearly 5 years before they finally got together. Some people even joke that this is exactly why she and Hailey Bieber clicked so fast, if you know what I mean. There's also criticism online about Alexandra coming from a so-called ordinary immigrant family, with some people accusing her of gold digging or benefiting from Charles's status. Old photos of her working at art auctions were even circulated as if she were just a sales assistant, despite the fact that she actually worked in the art sector, not retail. And yes, while her parents are not publicly known, it's impossible to deny that Alexandra and Charles come from the same social environment. They even attended the same school in Monaco. It's the classic internet paradox. The same people who praised her for being private now criticize her for showing up. When she was quiet, she was called elegant. Now that she's present, she's called performative. What's really happening is a shift in perception. For over a year, Alexandra existed as an aesthetic, a fantasy of elegance and mystery that fans could project onto. Now that she's acting like a real person with a growing public life, that illusion is cracking. Chapter 6. Public Perception. When someone rises fast, especially next to a global celebrity, the internet doesn't just watch, it dissects. And that's exactly what happened to Alexandra Saint-Mleux. For many fans, she's the perfect match for Charles Leclerc, elegant, educated, and low-key. Together they represent a kind of modern Monaco fairy tale, the national hero and the art school intellectual who prefers galleries to nightclubs. But of course, the fairy tale narrative also brought its own criticism. Some fans questioned whether her success online came mainly from her relationship with Charles. Others accused the media of romanticizing her too much, turning a private student into a fashion archetype almost overnight. Still, Alexandra never publicly responded to any of it. She stayed consistent. No interviews about her personal life, no reactive posts, no engagement in online drama. That silence, intentional or not, only reinforced her image as someone calm, private, and self-contained. When their engagement was announced in late 2025, through a carousel of soft cinematic photos and the now famous dachshund Leo delivering the proposal, the internet went wild. Half the comments congratulated them. The other half analyzed every detail of the ring, the candlelight, even the captions.
With Leo, tell us a bit more about
nothing. We were in Monaco and on the way back we were just moving house. I did it in the first few minutes in the new house. And yeah, it went all well, obviously. Thankfully she said yes. I'm very happy that way.
People were fascinated by a couple that somehow feels old-fashioned in a good way. Quiet, elegant, family-oriented, but fully aware of how modern fame works. And while Charles continues to dominate Formula One headlines, Alexandra has built something separate but parallel, a strong public image that exists beyond the title of driver's girlfriend. She's positioned herself as part of a new kind of influencer archetype: educated, self-aware, visually sophisticated, and deliberately private. For her audience, that mix, luxury without arrogance, fame without exposure, is exactly what makes her fascinating. Chapter 7. How Alexandra redefined the WAG archetype. To understand why Alexandra Saint-Mleux stands out, you first have to understand the ecosystem she entered. The F1 WAG world is basically a parallel media economy, built on image, sponsorships, and visibility. Partners of drivers are often part of the narrative. They appear in Netflix documentaries, walk red carpets, post branded content, and become personalities in their own right. Alexandra didn't follow that path. When she appeared next to Charles Leclerc, she didn't behave like a supporting character in someone else's spotlight. She didn't capitalize on the F1 audience or start a lifestyle brand. She did something more subtle. She stayed exactly who she already was. Her identity existed before the fame. She had an academic background, a defined aesthetic, and a worldview shaped by art rather than algorithm. So, when the public discovered her, she wasn't a blank slate for gossip blogs to project onto. She was a finished narrative. That's rare. Most public figures in her position have to build a persona after the attention arrives. Alexandra had one already. Minimalist, intellectual, a little distant, and she never adjusted it to fit pop culture's expectations of what a WAG should be.
Alexandra did something no other WAG has ever done, and unfortunately a lot of people missed it. Formula One is still overly male-dominated, so when women in or around F1 do something meaningful outside of the girlfriend label, like Alexandra did, it deserves visibility. Girlfriends of the drivers normally seen as accessories. And let's be real, Alexandra could easily stay silent, post pretty photos, and benefit from the fame attached to her relationship, but instead, she's using the visibility to do something good to support others.
2025 has been a turning point for Alex. A year ago, she was still something of a mystery, quietly posting art references and candid travel shots to a small but loyal audience. Now she's everywhere, not in a loud way, but in that subtle, slow burn kind of fame that creeps up until suddenly you realize she's on everyone's feed. That same mindset showed in her personal life too. 2025 was the year Charles Leclerc proposed, a moment that turned their quiet relationship into a global media story. And instead of capitalizing on it with endless PR, Alexandra used the momentum differently. She launched Corazones Unidos, a foundation supporting art and education programs for children in underprivileged communities in Mexico, a nod to her roots and her values. What's interesting is that you can see her consciously shaping her next chapter, balancing visibility with intention. She's not just becoming more famous, she's learning to direct that fame. And that might be the most strategic part of all. So, you can question the way she became famous, but when it comes to using that fame, she's playing her cards smarter than most. But I'm curious, do you think her rise is deserved or just perfectly timed? Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. And tell me, where do you see her going next?